Okay, good morning and welcome to Just Daf It, Daf Yomi Shir. We're learning Maseches Yevamos Daf Kufyud Zayin this morning, 117. Hopefully later I'll be giving this year on today's Daf Kufyud Ches, 118. Let's get started at the bottom. The Mishnah, Kufyud Zayin Amabez in the Mishnah on the bottom. Last three lines. Beishami Omen Tinase V'Titlok Suwasa. Right? Apparently it's going on in the first Mishnah, this parak, where she goes to Medina Sayyam. She goes, I said Grenadine in the last. Grenadine is not a country, it is part of a country. It's called St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is a country in the Caribbean. There's also a country called Grenada. And Grenadine also is a syrup made from pomegranates mostly. It's used as a mixer in a lot of alcoholic drinks, most notably Shirley Temple. For all those bar mitzvah boys that have Shirley Temple, they know what a Grenadine is. When I was a bar mitzvah boy, that's what they served. Without alcohol, obviously. She goes to St. Vincent and the Grenadines with her husband. She comes back. She says the husband is dead. So Shami says she gets her ksuva also. She can get married, but she doesn't get a ksuva. We don't believe her to extract the mammon, the money from the heirs of their husband. You matir ervo, which is a chash, maybe, ashes ish, which is chenek, we're not going to allow money, which is obviously more lenient than killing somebody. Amralhem Beisilel, Matzinu, Beisilel retorts back to them, top of Kufyud Zayim and Aleph, Sheina Achin, Nichnastel and Achal al Piv. We found the precedent by money, right, that the brothers don't inherit, Alpia, that the brothers don't inherit the portion. If she claims that the husband died, it's not good enough to give the brothers the nakala, the money. If they're the heirs, if he has no children, his brothers are going to inherit the money. It's not good enough. Her testimony. Forget about your proof over there, but the actual words of the ksuva, we learn that she's justified in getting the money. It says in the ksuva that if I get married or even permitted to get married, we learn in the Gemara that I get what you wrote for me, the ksuva. Beisol agreed after that proof. That Shammai says in the ksuva, what are you going to do? That's the agreement. The Gemara Zamar of Kista, this Yevamos nichnas anachla al pia. If she actually reports her husband died and she goes ahead and does yibum, right? She's miyabim. Her deceased brother's husband, or deceased husband's brother, marries her. So he not only gets her, but he also gets his brother's inheritance. Haim darshu midrash ksuva. I don't know midrash Torah. Rav Chisda's reasoning, if Beis Shammai, who ultimately Beis Hillel agreed with, made a drasha from the ksuba, certainly we can make a drasha from the Torah. Yaakov Hashem Achiv Amarachman. He should, the Yavam who marries his deceased brother's wife, right? He becomes in place of his brother. Amarachman of Harei Kam, and that's what he did. He was miyavim, where he gets the nachal. Amarav Nachman Basa Beis Din. If she comes in front of Beis Amar Mizbali, he tiruni linase, which is presumably the case in our Mishnah, right? She comes and says, "Allow me to remarry." Matir linase. That's what the Mishnah says. We allow her to get remarried and we give her a ksuva. Tnuli ksuvasi. If she just comes and says, "Give me my money," afli nase matir nosa, my time adopted the ksuva asai. She's obviously not telling the truth, because principally a woman should be more interested in getting married. There's a reisa. This is the way I'm explaining it. There's a weakness in her claim. If she's just blatantly comes, "I want my money," she obviously has something against her husband and she's falsely testifying that her husband died. She just wants her money. She doesn't care about her husband, so she lacks ne'emanos. This fits into what I was saying, that basically our Mishnah is talking about where the Eidos of the Isha, even though Eidos of the Isha is normally possible, in this case where we have a lot of circumstantial evidence, she went with her husband didn't return, and it's considered a daiko mitzvah, not like a regular daiko mitzvah where she's hearing from somebody else, or another woman, that her husband died. She herself is saying it, so therefore her daiko mitzvah provides circumstantial evidence to allow her to remarry. Here, her edus is weakened if she just comes asking for the ksuba. It's really not safe. It's really ksuvasa. Let's say she says, "Let me marry," and she also mentions, "Give me my ksuva." Okay, when the amar ksuvasa, the ksuvasa. Shouldn't she found it very appropriate to mention her ksuva? So you see that, obviously she said it second, but really she wants her money, and maybe we shouldn't believe her. Maybe she really sincerely saw her husband die, and she just, I want to get remarried. I'm like ksuva also because I'm entitled to it. Anything that she wants at a base din, she's going to say, she reverses the order. She says, give me my ksuva, and then I want to remarry. Maybe the fact she mentioned ksuva first shows that she's really after the money. Or maybe the fact that she mentioned ksuva first, because maybe she felt that was more important to allow her to remarry, and the whole reason she's coming is principally to get remarried, and therefore we believe her. We are not sure in this final case, or in these final two cases, what the halacha should be. The Mishnah says, "Akol ne'amonin l'ha'ida chutz mechamosa." Right now, as we said before, any aid is ne'aman, even a woman. This is going back previous prakim, right now where she's giving ne'aman, except for 5 ladies are not believed. Chutz mechamosa, her mother-in-law, right, her husband's mother, ubas chamosa, and her, her sister-in-law, her mother-in-law's sister, her husband's sister, Visarasa, and her co-wife, Yevimta. Yevimta is the woman. She if her husband were to die, right? So she is going to fall into Yavam, fall to Yavam. So the Yavam, it's a man over here. He's not believable. Bas Baila, and also the daughter of her husband, right? All these people, in some fashion, they want to see her out of her marriage with her present husband. So they might falsely testify that he died in order to makakel her, to ruin it for her, because she's gonna get remarried, and her husband's gonna come back, and then she's gonna have problems. Like we said, all the knasos apply. So therefore, ma ben get me. So why, when it comes to a get, these 5 women are believed when they come with a get, and they say it's a get for her. Where it says the difference is shaksav mochiach. Get, you have actual written proof that there was a gerushin. Here, there's no written proof. It's just words, and words are more easy to lie about. We mentioned her mother-in-law. What about, and the daughter of her mother-in-law? What about the daughter of her father-in-law? Right, assuming it's not the daughter of her mother-in-law, it's the daughter of a father-in-law for a different marriage. Time with the bas chamosa mishum deika ima desanula. Right, normally a mother-in-law hates her daughter-in-law. I don't know. I don't know exactly what this means. I mean, my mother-in-law, I think, likes my wife. Maybe there's something going on. I don't know, but I from the feeling I get is my mother-in-law likes my wife. Usually mother-in-laws don't have a good relationship with their daughters-in-law. I guess some are jealous that they're stealing the son from the mother. I don't know. The mother hates her. Hinami sanula. So she has the sister-in-law has no reason to hate her, but she does whatever her mother does. Her mother hates her. She hates her also. Her father-in-law doesn't hate the daughter-in-law. Her father-in-law, the Gemara established, doesn't hate the daughter-in-law. Because I guess the mother, she wants her son to adore her, and now the wife took him away from her. Odilma time the bas chamosa the amar l'kachel girsana the ima hachanami kamar achal girsana duina shai. Maybe the reason is that the daughter of the mother-in-law, it's not because the mother-in-law's hate. She is upset at the fact that because, right, her son-in-law is married to this woman, so therefore all the hard work that her mother did to make money and to give a dowry to this woman, and eventually be inherited by her and be used by her and the husband. So she's working hard to support him. So therefore, same thing by the father. She'll feel also my father, I feel bad for her father's supporting, now it's coming to support the Cole families. So she, my father's supporting them, so she's going to be upset that my father has to work so hard and not spend time with me in order just to feed this Cole family. Let's try to bring a proof. Everyone is neman for 8 as isha except 5 women. Isa shis havyan. It's going to be 6. I'm going to go back in a second. Yevimta isn't necessarily a man. I said it was a man. Yevimta is the woman who's her, right? If her husband were to die, she's going to fall to Yibum to another man. That other man has another wife, right? He has another wife, so she's going to end up being co-wives with him, and no one wants to be a co-wife with another woman. Technically, women want to have their husband all to themselves. Remember when I was dating, it was like a shock to me. It's not exactly related, but it's a similar idea. Is that I was dating once a girl. I said, we're talking about being a gadol dor, and I was like, yeah, I want to be a gadol dor. And you can check out my share on The Real Me about trying to be gadol dor. There was a point in my life I wanted to be the gadol dor. Maybe I am the gadol dor. And the girl was like, no, I wouldn't want my husband to be the gadol dor. I'm like, why not? Why wouldn't you want the gadol dor? I mean, just for the fact that you're married to a tzaddik, and second of all the honor that you get, the Rebbitzin of the gadol dor, Rebbitzin Kanievsky, I mean, she was famous. She had the esrog jelly. Chala, first chala, hundreds of thousands of people come for advice to witness her first chala. Do you ever have a woman with such power that she, people are streaming to her from all corners of the earth just to watch her take off some dough? She said, no, I want the husband for myself. I don't want him to be, someone who has those long lines, people are waiting to see him. And then when the hour or 2 hours are over, they're knocking on the door. No, I just need one more thing. My son, he's having trouble learning, he's only 3 years old. He's 3 years old, but can you believe the tsaros I'm going to have to go through because he doesn't kiss the Gemara. He learns the Gemara. He learns all of Shas. He knows all of Shas. But at the end, he doesn't kiss the Gemara. Rabbi Kanievsky, what am I going to do? Not right now. The Gadol Hador, what am I going to do with the Gadol Hador? These are the types of things I have to deal with, Crazy people, I need stucco. What do you mean? You have a mansion in your house? No. I don't have a butler. I want my butler. And you know what? I couldn't pay the butler because the stock market is down. And, it's a bear market now. And I don't have the money to pay a butler. How am I going to live like this? How am I going to live? I have my mansion. I have my yacht. I have everything that I want. I go to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but my butler. What about my butler? Give me a bracha. Give me a bracha. I need a bracha. Drink wine. Havdalah. I want that bracha. Give me the bracha to drink wine and Havdalah. I'll have a butler. Just some of the things that, and then the wife it's too hard for her to have a husband. She wants the husband for herself. And this is really how all women feel, I believe. Maybe there are exceptions to the rule, but all women want to have their husband for themselves. When you have to share your husband with another wife, it's nothing worse than that, right? Like the Gemara says in Megillah, Achashverosh did one of those things in order to get Esther to reveal her identity, her nationality. He made another round of sleeping with women, so he can make her jealous, right? So back to the Gemara. So that's what Yevimta means, a co-wife, potential co-wife. They hate. They don't want to share their husband with somebody else. So the Gemara says, so the Gemara says, all these 5 women are not believed. And if we're going to include this other woman, Bas Chamiv, right, that's the daughter of the father-in-law, it should be 6. My answer is, Dilma time the Bas Kamosa, the Amro Kachal, the Gerstana, doing Ashai, Loshna Bas Kamosa, Loshna Bas Kamel. Now, if the reason really is because she's taking funds, she's making my father-in-law or mother-in-law work hard, so then it wouldn't make a difference, and therefore you only have to say one, and we could reason the other one from that. So the Gemara says, now we have a different mission. Chos Misheva Nashim. It says 7 women. Ahir Rabbi Yehuda. That's Rabbi Yehuda, not the Rabbanan. The son Rabbi Yehuda, most of Af Eishas Av. He includes also people that are not Neman for Eidas Isha to give testimony the husband died. Also, the wife of the father, V'Hakala, and also his daughter-in-law. Right, the man who supposedly died, his daughter-in-law. Amrullah Eishas Av Rei B'Chlal Bas Abal. The Rabbanan said to Rabbi Yehuda, Eishas Av is the same reasoning. It's included in Bas Abal, the daughter of the husband. Kala Rei B'Chlal Kamosa, the daughter-in-law. right, is the same thing as the mother-in-law. They both hate. Rabbi Yehuda retorts back, no, there's different levels of hate. The mother-in-law hates the daughter-in-law. The Amra Kacha Lagirsani. She's taking my food, my hard work. Alakala, my time Basani Lachamosa. Why does a daughter-in-law hate her mother-in-law? Bishlam Abasa Bal the Sani Laishas Av the Amra Kacha Lagirsani. Also, the daughter of the husband, right? He hates his father's wife. He wants to mess her over. The Amra Kacha Lagirsani. She's eating whatever parnasa you make. She's eating it. The aim of my mother. El Ishas Av, my time Asani Labasabal. But the father's wife of this man, right? Why does she hate? Why does she hate the daughter? Elamai Mosif Tarti. So therefore, Yehuda says there's different levels of hatred, right? He's not saying that there's no hatred in the other cases, but there's different levels of hatred. There's more hatred, and that's why you have to have 7 cases. Elamai Mosif Tarti. So the Gemara really asks, if there's only hatred in some of the cases, why are you adding 2 extra ones? It seems like there's no hate there. Elakala my time. Sani Lachamo. So why does the daughter hate her mother-in-law? The Megala Labna called the Avda. Right? She doesn't like her mother-in-law because the mother-in-law, she has a close relationship with her son. She wants her son for herself. So she tells her son all the bad things about his wife. Eishes Avnami Sani Labasabal, the Megala Avia called the Avda. Right? The father's wife also doesn't like her husband's daughter, right? Because she is close with her father. She tells all the bad things that the wife does, stepmother does. The other Rabbanan answer, seems like there is hate in all these cases. Kamayim panim upon can't leave adam la adam. He says these last 2 cases, we can rely on the fact that if you're nice to somebody else, they're going to be nice to you. Upon him, right? If you're mean to other people, they'll be mean to you. If you show smiley countenance to other people, they'll smile back at you. And eventually, maybe their feelings will turn to you. He says these secondary levels of hate that they'll reveal to them bad things about them. If you have a nice disposition to them, they're not going to reveal those bad things about you. Yehuda, why didn't he say that? But Divrei Torah ksiv. That's when it comes to Divrei Torah. When it comes to doing mitzvos and Torah, right? When you try hard in mitzvos and Torah, you get rewarded. You'll be fulfilled with your Torah. You'll have satisfaction with your Torah and your mitzvos. When it comes to people, it doesn't always work that way. You're nice to someone, doesn't necessarily guarantee they're going to be nice back to you. They asked in Marava in Eretz Yisrael, Chamosa Habola Achar Mikan Mahu. Right, not the mother-in-law now, but a potential mother-in-law. Let's say, if this, right, she's testifying that this husband died. Now, she's not the mother-in-law. She's not this man's mother, but she has a son that's potentially attracted to this woman. Right, and she's going to end up being the mother-in-law. He has another suitor, right? He was in Shidduchim, and it came down to two guys. She had to pick between 2 guys, the rich guy and the poor guy. The rich guy was really good-looking. He was really rich. He had a lot of money. But he was just a boring guy, and he was a nerd, a rich nerd. And the poor guy had nothing to his name and no money. He was ugly, didn't look good, nothing good about him, but he was a cool guy, he had a good personality. Who's the woman going to choose? So most people who don't understand these things would say, of course, he's rich. Yeah, the woman's going to go after the money. He's good looking. Woman, go after the good looks. No. You're looking at the perspective of your own perspective. A man wants money. A man wants a good looking woman. But if you're thinking, you put your mind into a girl's mind, the girls are not looking for that so much. They like having money, and they like a guy who's good looking. But that is not the number one thing for them. The number one thing for them is a cool guy, a funny guy who's with it, who's confident, a strong personality. That's what they're after. So even though he's poor, and even though he's ugly, and maybe even fat, you didn't know that girls, a lot of girls will prefer someone who's a little overweight as opposed to somebody who's very skinny, if you didn't know that. Also, not like completely overweight, but even completely overweight, they won't hate that. Women actually prefer that. Someone would prefer that. Where it says, how do I know all this? That's a secret. All right. where it says, she's a potential mother-in-law. Does she think, right, that a husband is going to die? Here it's talking about a mother-in-law who's not even, the second boy that she might marry is the brother of, right? Is the brother. So you need two things to happen: the testimony to be accepted that her husband died. She's going to marry somebody else, and then her other son, right? Her son, who's now right from a different father. I mean, same father, but her son is gonna, she's gonna fall to Yibam, to him, the Sanyalan. She already hates him because of what's gonna happen. Olo, or do we assume that it's too far in the future? She doesn't hate him. Tashma, on top of Kof Yud Zayin Beis, Amra Meis Bali v'Achak Meis Chami Tinase. The woman says, she comes back into this Hayam. She said, my husband died, and then I also saw who else? My father-in-law died. Tinase, Dita Ksuva. She's allowed to get remarried. She gets her ksuva, but chamosa asura. But her mother-in-law can't get remarried. My time, chamosa asura. Lamishum damrina lo bala mayis lo chameh mayis. Really, what happened was neither her husband died, neither her mother-in-law, her father-in-law died. Had the kamar hakal kekula lechamosa. Who the chamechavna? She's trying to ruin it for her mother-in-law. She's gonna, try to get ahead there. She's not gonna remarry. She'll wait because her husband's really not dead, and then her mother-in-law is gonna get remarried, and then her husband's gonna come back, and she's gonna look bad in her eyes. Right? She's thinking all the way down the line because they both hate each other. The mother-in-law hates the daughter-in-law, the daughter hates the mother-in-law because the daughter-in-law they're each trying to win over this husband or son. She wants to ruin it. The daughter wants to ruin it for the husband. So she's thinking in the future, right? What's going to happen? She's waiting for what's going to happen in the future in order to ruin it for her mother-in-law. The Gemara says, "Dilma shani hasam the ragish l'sara." The Gemara says that's different because already she feels the pain. She has the mother-in-law now, and the mother-in-law is causing her pain. In this other case, where it's a potential mother-in-law, maybe we wouldn't say that. The Mishnah says, "Eid omer mace," one aid, a kosher aid. I'm going to talk about this in the Ben Sion. Just elaborate more on my theme over here: a kosher aid versus a apostle aid, aid isha. Eid omer mace. An aid says the husband died, Benises, and she got married. We'll see, it doesn't mean she got married, she got a heter to remarry. Another person comes and says, no, she doesn't have to, Totzi, even from her heter, she's allowed to get married as long as Basin give her heter. One aid says he died, and then she got a heter, and then two people say lomes. Even if she's already married, she has to get out of the marriage. Two people, one aid is worthless compared to two Eidim. Two people said he died, and one says he didn't die. Even if she doesn't have a heter, she can go ahead and get that heter and remarry. The Gemara says, Taima Denises, the reason is she got married. Halo Nises Losinase, but she didn't get married, she can't marry. Amrula, but the first aid was a kosher aid, we're assuming. He's a kosher, a man, a kosher le'edus, not a gazlan. It's kosher le'edus, right? Anytime the Torah believes in one aid, like my shvu, it's like having two aidim. So therefore, it's like two against one. So the one who says that he didn't die, he's not believed at all, and she could even get a heter to get remarried. She didn't even get married. It doesn't mean that she actually got married. All you need is to get a heter. Basin approves of this aid, and the aid echad becomes shnaim only after the heter of Basin. Basin recognizes him as an aid. Then makabel aidus, then he becomes like shnaim. Doesn't leave the heter, but if Basin never knows about this aid, he never testified, he's not an aid, so therefore we're not going to say the second case in our Mishnah, one aid says he died, and then two say no. So I would say pshita. Of course, the first one is meaningless, and two. Obviously, we're talking about before the eid got recognized as two. Otherwise, if he was a kosher aid, he got recognized as two, then it would be shtayim, and lo seitze mitayar rishon. The Gemara says lo shricha b'psuli edus. We're going to say the Gemara interprets the second clause in the Mishnah as talking about. Originally, we thought we were talking about kosher edim. Now the Gemara says no, we're talking about psuli edim, or at least some of the edim are psulim. The sign of Nechemi Omer kol kashmin atar eid echad halacha harov deos. But Nechemi has a principle. Whenever you have an eid echad, right? Even if the eid echad, where the Torah believes in eid echad, even if she's not a good eid echad like an isha, halacha harov deos, you go after rov. Atu shtei nashim beish echad, shtei nashim beish echad. Even if you have a mixture of a kosher aid, right? If you have two women, they're better than one kosher aid. He equates, whenever the Torah believes Eid Echad, even if she's not a kosher Eid Echad, he equates kosher Eid then with non-kosher Eid. And that is only according to the Nechemia. We see, obviously, according to the Rabbanan, we hold like there is a big difference in Eid Echad between a kosher Eid and not kosher Eid. And the Nechemia says they're all the same. So therefore, and that's the chiddush of the Mishnah, that like Rav Nechemia, this Mishnah says, the second clause in the Mishnah is like Rav Nechemia, and we believe the two women over the one man. Everybody is saying, well, the Rabbanan would argue that. Everybody is saying, even Rav Nechemia would agree, if one kosher aid comes first, I feel mei anashim ke'edechad damya. Right? Even 100 women is only like one aid. Ela going to ask like isha mikara. Right? Really, and obviously, if the man came first, so we'd say kol makushim Torah yedechad arekan shnayim. So you have two kosher edim. The other witnesses, the 100 women, are like one. They're meaningless. What are we talking about here? Going to ask like isha mikara. A woman came originally, but tirtzal the Nechemia hachi. This is Rav Nechemia to say. Nechemia omer kol makushim Torah yedechad halacha Rav Deos asu shtei nashim beisha achas kishtei nashim beisha echad aval shtei nashim beisha echad kapalga upalga dami. He says here we're talking about who came first, right? First came the woman. She's kosher for Eidas Isha, but she's normally not a kosher aid. And therefore, and then two women come after her and say that the husband hasn't died, so we believe them. But the chiddush is, Nechemia, Shtei Nashim, is the implication of Nechemia. Shtei Nashim, Isha Echad, Kapal Gobal Adami. But if the inference, if it was one kosher aid, according to Nechemia, the first aid was a kosher aid, so then he would have the same validity as two women, right? The same validity as two women, and therefore it would be palga dami. If she got a heter, remarry already, then she could keep that heter. If she didn't get a heter, then she can't marry the suffix. Palga dami. And both these answers are according to Rav Nechemia. According to Rabbanan, we see even not like the second answer, and therefore even one aid is better than multiple nashim. According to both these answers. We're going to use that to just explain that a little more in Yunus Ben Sion. You're not going to want to miss it. Shnayim Omer Mace, the last clause in the Mishnah, two people said Mace, Maika Mashbalan. What's the chiddush, right? The last clause in the Mishnah says Shnayim Omer Mace, Ve'ed Omer Lo Mace. Two people said he died, and one says he didn't die. So the second, the third, the aide who says he didn't die is obviously meaning. He says Maika Mashbalan. The chiddush of Psuli is from Nechemia. The Azab was Rav Deos. Hainu hach. The chiddush like from Nechemia. Even though we're talking about all these Eidos are puzzle Eidim. The first two Eidim are two women. The third one's also a woman. You go after Rav Deos, you believe the first one. Hainu hach. The same one. It's exactly said in the second clause. Ki azim bas Rav Deos the chumra. We go after Rav Deos to machmir aval kula lo to be makel over here to rely on two women besting the third woman. We wouldn't say that. Kamashma. Even according to Rav Nechemia, we do say that. You go after Rav Deos, even the kula. We're going to distinguish between Rabbanan, Nechemia, and Yunus Ben Sion coming up next.